Welcome to
Uh,
Coffee and Tea with Lev and Dean and Malcolm Nance, ladies and gentlemen. Black Man Spy, give him a follow. Hit that Chiron at the top. And we have a very, very, very serious program today, as Malcolm started out before we started. And that is Lev Parnas. Lev Remembers is where you can find him. Can you hear us, Dev? You got us? Nah? I
yeah.
think he's lost his. Okay, he
Lev,
lost. You got your audio. Okay,
yeah.
Lev. Sorry,
You
Lev.
hear me now?
So many Evs. Yeah, I got you. But this is Coffee and Tea special, the U.S.-Iran War edition. Never thought I'd say that. What a night!
Yeah.
I mean, Malk, you got up at 3 o'clock in the morning when this whole thing started. Did you get woken up to it, or talk to me?
No, I always get up between 3:30 in the morning to do my writing. Full disclosure, my memoir, which 188,000 words, was sitting in the Pentagon for 21 and a half months to get cleared for them to give me only about 15 to 20 blackouts. So I have to get that to my publisher by Monday morning. It's been almost 2 years that it's been in abeyance. And I was up editing. I got up to edit, and then Trump had just given his speech, I think 32 minutes before. And I'm like, we're at war with Iran. Interesting note for those of you who don't know the details of this: the United States attacked Iran in a joint operation with Israel. So it technically should be the U.S.-Israeli Iranian war. We did it not just in coordination with them. We are splitting the effort
Yeah.
for with the Israelis. So we struck at high noon, 12 noon in the midday. Dozens upon dozens of cruise missiles were fired. There's some speculation that it was done to try to kill the Ayatollah Khamenei at a very specific location at a very specific time of day, which is fine. A decapitation strike. But if there's anything we should all have learned with the Trump administration and Maduro and Venezuela, is you can take out the leader, but he generally wants to cut a deal and work with the survivors. This is not going to change the regime in Iran. They had a massive, bloody, multi-decade revolution that led to the change. The Ayatollah Khamenei coming in 1979. No matter what Trump thinks, this is not going to do it. He makes it seem like, oh, well, we attacked them. You just go do your thing. Well, their thing cost them 10 to 15,000 civilians a few weeks ago. And in fact, it could be argued that's when we should have done this airstrike. So that being said, the United States is striking all over Iran. So is Israel is striking all over Iran. Iran has responded. Here are the countries they have attacked thus far: Israel and hit Israel, Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Kuwait, Bahrain, Qatar, United Arab Emirates, and Jordan. They have hit every country except Oman. And now there's reports that Oman had some cruise missile activity a couple of hours ago, probably targeting tankers in Fujairah, but you have to cross Omani airspace. So it's quite possible Oman, which is the Switzerland and the Persian Gulf, got hit too. So we are at full-scale war
Full-scale war
with Iran. And
No, Malcolm, I mean, nobody could say it better than you, and I'm glad. First of all, welcome back home. You from wherever you are, our spy. He's always around. We don't know where he is, but he pops up. He pops up and disappears. But Malcolm's been on an incredible crusade, Greenland, and he working on his book. Malcolm, welcome back to. We miss you. I miss you personally, but not a way that I thought we'd be starting off. But. What Malcolm just said to you is so correct, and we're going to talk about a lot of things, and we're going to also break down the what is actually going on. But let's talk about some things first of all. First of all, let's understand because a lot of people are saying today, waking up and saying, "Why today? Why are we attacking? What happened again? Why all of a sudden today?" I think it was Thursday we were on, Dean, right? Me and Dean were on. We were talking about it, and I actually said, one of my sources said that they're going to attack Friday to Saturday. We were just having that conversation is because there's several things that are happening, and we're going to discuss all of them. One It's the Epstein files. Let's understand there's something
Right.
major happening right now with the Epstein files. There are 53 pieces of documents that are missing right now that literally links Donald Trump to underage girl, 13 to 15 years old, that there were FBI complaints. Major, major thing. Also, let's talk about what's going to take place starting Monday when the markets open up. Oil prices are going up. Oil prices are going up. Who does that benefit? It benefits Donald Trump because he just took out the Venezuelan oil that's being sent over the money to Qatar. It benefits the Russians because they're just selling Russian at 45 now. The dollars are going to go up and they're going to be able to fund their war against Ukraine. And it benefits the Saudis, who are also the major three oil players involved in the situation. So there's a one, and the major thing. Let's also remind everybody is Donald Trump just a few months ago during the 12-day war, whatever he called it. Remember, Malcolm, we were talking about, and we told you, Malcolm and me, we were standing there right when they went live. We said he did not destroy their nuclear weapon. They moved them. Remember, it was all theatrics. We had that all day. It was all theatrics. And then they called up, said, we're going to bomb you now. And you called in. Remember all of that? And now all of a sudden, Trump is saying, what are the reason why we're attacking? Again, we're taking out the nuclear weapons. I thought we took the nuclear weapons out. So there's a lot going on, and we're going to unbreak all of this today. But folks, smash those hearts, because this is not just another Saturday edition. We are at full-scale war. What Malcolm just told you, this is just the beginning. I mean, to see where, because think about it. Iran is now attacking all of these other Middle East countries. This is no more peace in the Middle East. There was never peace in the Middle East, but now there's instability in the Middle East. Now you're going to start getting, and that's what I'd like to hear Malcolm talk a little bit more about, how all of these militias, how all these groups now, how you're going to start all of this. Because just think about what Donald Trump said yesterday at 3:00 in the morning. I was watching it just like you said, Malcolm, and he turned around and said, well, this is your only chance. We're going to hit them hard. Come on, take out the people. But you know who's not talking? You know who we didn't hear nothing from yet? Vladimir Putin.
Right.
Because you know what? Vladimir Putin gave the okay, just like he did with Venezuela, because it benefits. Because who is a link between all of this? Who's the last people to talk about? Steve Witkoff, Jared Kushner. They're the link between the Iranian conversations. They're the link between the Russian conversation. They're the link between the Middle East conversation. They're the link. That is the link to everything that we've been talking about. So I just wanted to. What do you think about that, Dean?
Yeah, well, listen, there's a lot to clear up here, because this isn't business as usual. Like, we come from a geopolitical time where your hard allies were your hard allies. And so to see Iran, and I'd like to get into it a little bit with Malcolm, and then we can get into the impetus for this. A lot of people are calling it the Operation Epstein theory, by the way, which is actually very true. So Operation Epstein.
Good name.
But there are different issues at play here, Malcolm, and I want to get to Iran's response that you talked about. They hit 14 different air bases, U.S. bases in the Middle East, including 5th Fleet Navy Command. They hammered Bahrain, hammered Abu Dhabi, and literally watching, and we could talk about targeting, but watching them go after nations and countries that have been friendly to the. They hit the Palm Jumeirah. Yeah, they hit the Palms in Dubai. Yeah, the Fairmont. And so, if you can clear that up for us, because this isn't business as usual, and there's so many different aspects to this that are, as Lev pointed out, behind the scenes, whether you get the okay from Russia, would Russia be okay with the United States attacking Iran, knowing the strategic partnership they have with Iran in helping them arm Russia to take out Ukraine, knowing the strategic partnership with China? Like, talk is cheap. They've all condemned it, but at the same time, they would have to get okay. And now we're watching a Middle East friendly country in Iran attack their own allies in certain places, right?
Well,
Absolutely.
let me jump in there real quick. What you're watching Iran do is something that we had been preparing for them to do for 40 years. And that's to immediately, I mean, in the ballistic missile war of 2024, Iran was trying to internationalize the anti-Jewish alliance throughout the Muslim world. And to be quite honest with you, ISIS put a knife in that. And the Muslim, speak of what you will say about the Arab world, they secretly hate the Palestinians. And did I say secretly? They would tell me straight up to my face they hate the Palestinians. And by attacking Israel, a lot of Arabs thought that they got what was coming to them. I was in Qatar the day after that attack. You know, and then I went to United Arab Emirates and they were like, good, let them have it. But the Iranians had been preparing for some time, since now that the war was going on with Israel and they couldn't really get through with hundreds of ballistic missiles. It was now about a question of, you're all traitors to Islam. Now we're going to regionalize this war. This is a regional war now. United States was saying that Trump was saying that that's not what he wanted. This was about regime change. It's about demilitarizing Iran. Iran's like, screw that, right? They sent dozens of ballistic missiles and Shahed drones into all of these countries. United Arab Emirates got it at Dhafra Air Base. Ballistic missiles are getting shot down and raining debris all over the city. Got it way worse than Dubai. Dubai just got 3. The purpose of hitting Dubai and Palm Jumeirah, you know, the Fairmount at Palm Jumeirah and all these other high luxury places, was to end tourism in Dubai. Everyone's, I'm telling you right now, no one is going to go to Dubai for another year for open-faced tourism. It's going to really hurt them, except for people that are investing. You know, all the Russians are there. They weren't in Dubai. They were in Sharjah, which is a cheesy little emirate right above Dubai that's really cheap. And they have the only real operating airport you can get out of, Sharjah International Airport. So that's what it was about, punishing these countries for allowing America to do it. Doha, same thing. Bahrain got it the worst. I'm sorry, Fifth Fleet headquarters. I worked there for a year out of, you know, at Naval Sport Activity Bahrain. That place appears devastated, not just the one hit. It took multiple Shahed hits. And the other part of it is, you know, same thing with Kuwait, you know, Ali Salam Air Base, Army, U.S. Army Central Command forward. All of these places also showed that these Arab states were not very good with air defense, right? If a Shahed drone, you shoot down a Shahed drone with a rifle if you put your mind to it. They may have been getting ballistic missiles, but they didn't get the Shaheds. And, you know, so we're seeing that level of weakness, which may force the United States, if Iran steps this up, because I think this was a very small series of attacks today by the Iranians. I think it was just page 1 of a playbook.
Well, that's
but now, if they escalate, it could force the Americans to have to step back from striking Iran to defending airspace, right? Or if the Iranians get into their small boats tonight by the thousands, right? Hundreds and hundreds of these Iranian Rev Guard small boats, and start, you know, getting into the ocean, which is very hard to find them, very hard. They could attack those countries directly, Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, landing troops there in the next few days. These things have all been planned by Iran. The person that hasn't done any planning for this, Donald Trump. This is not an intelligence-based presidency. It's all, it feels and vibes, and I'm going to make some money.
100%, and beyond. I mean, it's beyond even making money. It's protecting his ass, because these 53 pages and we got our wolf pack on it. Ellie and the team are looking into it, and we're trying to find it and get it over to Congress, because those 53 pages are going to break open this whole thing. And that's how I want to ask you, Malcolm. I mean, like, what are the capabilities of Iran? I mean, because we're hearing different things, you know, in Iran, and one of the things is like Russia. You know, everybody said Russia is that powerful Russia. Now we're starting to see Russia is not that powerful Russia, but they're still capable of doing a lot of damage, and a lot of people are getting killed, and they're also now switching over to terroristic acts. One of the things that, like, I've been watching throughout the day is like it's not so much the ballistic missiles that everybody's worried about. It's the new warfare of the drones, because what's hitting all of these places is these drone attacks. And we know Iran is, you know, who's been supplying Russia with the drones. Their drone technology is tremendous. So is this a new warfare? And again, then the Straits of Hormuz also. Please touch on that, because
I wouldn't say that this is new war. I say what we're looking at is the asymmetric war Iran has been preparing for 4 decades. And let me tell you something, the country is 93 million people, right?
Mhm.
It is not a small country. The Basji, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps volunteers, the people who are just hardcore, sort of like Nazi volunteers, right? That's 800,000 on active duty, and 25 million Iranians are card-carrying members of the regime's Basji who are considered call-up volunteers. So let's say we kill Ayatollah Khamenei. I'm going to tell you something. I have never been to Iran. I've been in Iranian waters. I've been in combat with the Iranian armed forces. But more importantly, I've seen Iran, how they are in Iraq. And those people are fervent. The people who are true believers are true believers. Average Iranians like, well, so long as this doesn't affect the price of dates, rice, and pomegranate, I'm I'm really not involved, right? It's not hitting me, it's hitting IRGC headquarters. And those guys aren't in the headquarters. They're on the street with their rifles drinking tea at the cafe. And unless you're going to dedicate the next year to bombing every intersection with 4 guys with rifles, or every day bombing every cafe that has now become an IRGC local headquarters, you cannot do anything to affect a regime change. If there's going to be an uprising, there's 800,000 to 1 million guys with rifles who are just going to shoot you dead like they did last month. But the real asymmetry comes from if they mobilize and start declaring war, and that they link up with the Hashab Shabi, the popular resistance forces in Iraq. There was a scenario when I worked the Iran-Iraq war. I want to say this was in 1989, where the Iranians were about to break through in the Al-Faw Peninsula in one of their, what they called Operation Karbala, like 1 through 35, right? These offensives. And it appeared that they were going to break through. The fear was not that they would break through and then turn to the right and go north to Baghdad. The fear was they were going to break through, hold Basra, mobilize all these Shia Muslims, right? Go up to Karbala, Najaf, and then get 85% of Iraq on their side, Shia to Shia brother, and then turn south and go into Kuwait. That was an actual scenario. If the Iranian armed forces, which is known as the Artesh, do not come out and fight the IRGC in full-scale war, you don't know how this is going to go. The Iranian Rev Guard could disarm all the Artesh officers, take over all the soldiers, take all their armored personnel carriers, and that it becomes an IRGC army, not just the Iranian army. And they could start doing real mischief. Tomorrow night, right? 3,000 boats, guys in boats could be storming across the Arabian Gulf. And even though we're sinking them with airplanes and ships, they could get to Kuwait and blow up all the oil fields. Saudi Arabia, same thing. Now, why am I so specific about this? Because that almost happened in 1987. They literally got to sea with 1,000 commandos and were going to blow up all the oil fields. So they could get very bad very quickly. And look, say what you will about Arab armies, they got all sorts of cool-ass equipment and gear. If the Houthis in Yemen showed you anything when they were fighting the Houthis in Yemen, guys in flip-flops can kick their ass. And as soon as somebody with more religious fervor comes out with you with a fucking beheading knife, these Arab armies turn and run. So we could move on to a regional land war if the Iranians so chose. I think they're going to take their licks. They're going to let it calm down. They're going to tell Trump that you won or you got your off ramp. But if the regime exists tomorrow or the next day or in a week, they won. Just like they won last year with this nuclear materials.
I mean, and brilliantly said. And I just to add to some of the stuff that I'm hearing from my people in Russia, and that have been in talks. And so this is also part. Why does it help Russia? What's going on? Why is people say, well, like you asked just now, Dean, isn't Russia friendly with Iran.
Yeah.
No, Russia's more friendly with Trump now than anybody else. Russia, through the Witkoff, Kushner, through the past year, they've solidified a relationship that you're seeing chess pieces on the board. Like Russia used to be very close with Maduro. Maduro's gone. They gave him that chess piece. Russia's close with Iran. Now that's going to be gone. This is all being done because the major pieces that are being put together, as you're seeing, is the axis that me and Malcolm spoke about prior. Trump, Putin, and Bibi Netanyahu. These are the people right now that are controlling this whole situation, and it's about power, oil, land, infrastructure, and watch how this truly helps Russia. It destabilizes Europe because now you're going to start seeing all of the Middle East, all of these people, refugees. You're going to, running more people into Europe. You're going to have more border problems. You're going to have more immigration problems. Europe is going to get more destabilized. You're going to see travel, tourism stop. That ends money, just like Malcolm says, not only to Dubai, but also all of these places, because you got to fly through some of these air to be able to reach other places. So you're going to start seeing people, tourism. And the biggest thing is oil. You're going to see the oil prices start going up if, again, and this is the important part, because we're going to see how Iran responds. If Iran responds, and this is even if they do this for a week, folks, and that's why what Malcolm's saying, if they do this for a week or two, the oil prices and the problems that will explode from it will be just tremendous. Go ahead, Malcolm.
Lev, you mentioned a little earlier, and I'm wanted to touch on this about the Strait of Hormuz.
Yes, please.
The Iranians on international bridge-to-bridge, Channel 16, started doing what I've seen them do 2 or 3 times in my career, which is get on Channel 16. Rev Guard guy will come on there and broadcast. The Strait of Hormuz is now closed. Anybody transiting through here is subject to attack by the government of Iran. When I lived in Abu Dhabi, I traveled all over the United Arab Emirates. I've been to the Musandam Peninsula, and that's at the tippy southern point of the Persian Gulf. And you can stand there on the Musandam hillsides and look completely across to Iran. You can straight there, and you can look down on all that major shipping traffic that's going left and right into the Persian Gulf, out of the Persian Gulf or the Arabian Gulf, whatever you want to call it. It is not hard to close that. The problem with Iran and the problem with international shipping is if there's money to be made, there are ships that will keep going through no matter what you do. But these VLCCs, very large crude carriers, ULCCs, ultra large crude carriers, they are now all holed up on the western side of the Arabian Peninsula. And what they're doing is they're probably transshipping their oil to the pipeline the United Arab Emirates made on the eastern side in Fujairah. And there are VLCCs, ULCCs down there ready to pick those up, but they cannot transit when Iran is threatening. And I keep hearing these people say, well, the United States, we have our naval capacity there can keep it open. It's not really going to close. The point is, it's going to close for ships that are insured, right? And the people that are going to close it is the insurance companies.
That's right.
It is not the Iranian Navy. They can do a threat, but they will attack a few ships. It's nighttime right now. It's 2:00. Add 9 hours. All right. So it's almost midnight, going on midnight in Iran. This is where the small boats come out. This is where the crews, they use Shahed drones against these ships that are staging out there. And if they can get a few ships burning or board some of these ships or go up and put explosives or, attack it with a torpedo, whatever, even though their warships right now are being sunk in harbor, they are. The Iranians will create enough fear to push that oil to $100 a barrel. So don't forget, wars are not for wars. Wars are literally politics by another method. That's what von Clausewitz said about war. And we are looking at an economic discussion going on with explosives. And the people that will come out on top will be Iran, because the oil's not going to stop coming out of the ground. we're not going to overthrow the government to where there's not going to be an Iranian government oil company. We're not going to be able to kill enough people. They said only 200 people have been killed. And in one strike, it may be as many as 40 school children.
That's what they say. 40 kids.
These things happen. It may be propaganda, but I'm not sure it is. So this doesn't, out of 93 million people, we lose 209 million in school, or 209 in school shootings in the first half of a year. So our capacity to really change the Middle East, and this is what's happening. I've said this before. You are looking at mental illness disguised as foreign policy. And Trump tomorrow he'll look at all the strike statistics, and he'll finally look at some of the intelligence of the pictures of the Ayatollah's house, and he will convince himself he has won an amazing victory, and that Iran, if they talk to us, are now all neutral, no longer Shia Muslims, and no longer going to fight us and want to do business, and now it's time to make deals. Yeah, you're gonna leave everybody in power again.
It's the Venezuela model.
Oh, the Venezuela
model. It's the same thing what you just said. Like people are reporting that the Ayatollah might be dead, and the Ayatollah. This is all Trump cares. If they can, that's why they struck the Ayatollah. They're not going, and they're not going. And when they say regime change, Trump's not going to change. He wants the people to attack to change regime change.
He said that.
He said that.
But you can't do that. You should have done it a month ago, and it would have actually worked. It could have actually worked. But now to come back and go, hey, listen, 10 to 15,000, maybe 50,000 of you are dead and wounded. Yeah, why don't you go do that shit again? And this time, do it after we bomb some empty buildings. And they're going to be like, fuck you, no. No, what the fuck were you a month ago?
That's 100%. Basically what they're trying to do with Iran.
Shit. It's the Department of Stupid Shit.
Yeah, well, you got Pete Hexek. What was it?
Nutsack. Pete Nutsack.
Whiskey Pete.
Whiskey Pete. So let me ask you a couple questions there, because I find that the song and the dance, right? He said he obliterated Iran. Not so obliterated if you're going to go and obliterate Iran. Of course, we know the history of the song and dance. He had an Iranian commander a couple of weeks ago come out and go, we just got a weird phone call from the Trump regime. And they're like, hey, can we have a little bit of a fake war? Need some help with the electorate. And again, I believe the IGRC's rhetoric more than I believe anything that comes out of the Trump regime. So, there's that. But we're also seeing what is, very much a part of this conversation. A lot of people, including the prime minister of this country here in Canada, who put out a note today and said, hey, listen, no love lost for the Khomeini, no love lost for the Iranian Muslim regime. I mean, they are hardline killers. They've killed tens of thousands of their own people. And Mark Carney effectively said, I support what are Israel and Iran are doing. And he is getting absolutely dragged here. And then you've got other coalition of the willing people like the UK and France and Spain that have come out and said, this is an absolute fucking disaster. This is a crime against humanity. What are you doing? So let's talk about that. How is this going to play out politically? And listen, I don't disagree with what you just said, and I disagree with Mark Carney, but I also know that this is a very real thing that the Iranian regime needed to go fucking anyway. Right?
Let me grab this for a second, Malcolm, before I give you the tell you. I want to say, because I think it's very important to break down what Mark Carney said, and yes, we all agree, and this is the problem. We all agree that Ayatollah needs to go. We all agree. Yeah. It's just like we all agree that we don't want, killers and rapists in our country illegally. It's the process. It's what's happening. The fact that Trump attacked and is trying to take Ayatollah out does not change the regime, does not change the suffering of the people, does not change the fact that they're going to try to get nuclear weapons. Just like that's why I call it the Venezuela model. The same thing they did there. So when Carney comes out and says, yes, no love lost for the Ayatollah, yes, great. But again, you take Ayatollah, what is the plan? What is the plan to, okay, we take the Ayatollah out? And then I want to pass it to Malcolm, because this is where the problem becomes. Trump just wants a head on his, it's like going hunting. I killed the bear.
He just wants a pelt.
Exactly. I got the Ayatollah's head. I got Maduro's head. I got all the. But what goes on there? What's the plan to go? And that's where I think Carney is wrong, and where Carney should be coming out and saying, I need to know what like I said, no love lost, but what's the next plan? And the
Yeah,
people that are
but
go ahead, Malcolm. Go
the
ahead.
problem is he wants these heads on a plaque and he wants to be able to use them as trophy, but he's fucking Elmer Fudd. Okay? It's like, and the Iranians step up behind him eating a fucking carrot like,
What's up, Doc?
what you doing, Doc? What's up? And he's just like, I'm hunting Ayatollahs. It's like, yeah, where are the sneaky Ayatollahs at? I mean, this literally, I always quote Rudyard Kipling. Because I'm a member of the Kipling Society, and I am a big fan of this former British intelligence officer. And he wrote one of the best parts of one of his poems was written in an epitaph drear, a fool lies here who tried to hustle the East. And this is another dumbass who thinks he's coming into the Middle East. Okay? This is the country that created, that created was a cradle of civilization, right?
Yeah.
And this guy
They
thought,
created language, they created algebra, they
and
created
they
math,
thought,
they created science.
but he thought that he was going to come here. It's just like, I can apply my big brain to the problem that no one else could solve, which was attacking Iran. It's not about attacking Iran. It's about attacking Iran in such a way that they don't rapid produce an atomic bomb.
Thank you.
It's about attacking Iran. Let me tell you something. If Iran were to detonate an atomic bomb, right, in the next month, 6 months, a year, the Saudis are going to go to the Pakistanis and say, we want to buy 5.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then the United States is going to do what? Come back and go, oh, we have to have another war. It's like, bitch, you just had a war. How many wars do you need? This is not he will not be able to make a regime change. All he can do is regime degradation of capability. He is removing some of their chess pieces off, but they got pieces. You know what? I'm sorry. This guy thinks he's playing chess. He's actually playing checkers, but the Iranians are playing fucking Star Wars holographic chess, right? With monsters that come up and jump out and throw you to the ground and eat you. I mean, this guy doesn't understand who he's fucking with. Yes, you can destroy Isfahan F-4 Phantoms on the ground, but when the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps jumps out and starts blowing up oil fields, and the price of oil does go to 150, Trump will be like, awesome, now U.S. shale will be worth something. See, he doesn't care at all.
Yeah, there's a different calculus there, and there's a question because we talk about asymmetric warfare being very different than what Donald Trump telegraphed in his speech and in his Truth Social post, where he was basically telling Iranians, "I'm going to do you a favor, just go and take your country back." I mean, that's not nuanced at all, and that's just so fucking ridiculous to think that air superiority of the United States has anything to do with regime change. Regime change has never happened, to your point, with dropping bombs on any target. It always happens when you have boots on the fucking ground.
Right.
And
you can't even do it then. We tried that shit in Iraq. We got Ahmed Chalabid, right? We had a guy lie to us, tell us we'll be greeted as victors. All this morning, I was on channels with a lot of Iranian Jews and a lot of, Ayatollah, not Ayatollah, what's his name? King Reza Pahlavi's son, Reza Jr., and everybody was like, they're dancing in the streets. There are little old ladies and children dancing in the streets. And like, I have heard this every fucking war in 40 years. Don't be telling me they're dancing in the streets. Show me 1 million men surrendering. The entire Islamic Shia imamate, right, which is tens of thousands of imams, would have to give up their belief and their life. There are guys who are in their fucking 70s who served in the Iran-Iraq war who are going to go, oh, so this was all bullshit? No. All right. They're not here for what Trump believes. They're there for what they believe. Listen, I got to jump off after this last comment. There was a great meme. There's some great memes going out there today. Operation Epstein. That was a good one. Epstein Fury.
Operation Epstein Fury. Yes,
I love that one. But there was one I saw that was taken from, I guess, the TV show about the Marines in Desert Storm, and it shows a helmet upturned with a woman's picture inside, and it says, "Remember what you're fighting for." And the picture had been changed to Jeffrey Epstein. But oil and Epstein, I can't. That's it. That's it. That are the only two things that make sense. Every other one of his explanations, protecting Israel, that's a worthy cause. Go ahead. Great. Degrade ballistic missiles so they can't attack their neighbors. Fail. Because that happened. That's happened today, and it's going to happen until they surrender or pressure United States to stop blowing up all their tourist destinations. But remember what you're fighting for. Right now, I think Trump will get Epstein off the books for about 48 hours.
Yeah.
That's it.
If that, because we're not stopping. Believe what I tell you. He's
all right.
not good.
I'll let you guys have your podcast back. I'll talk to you later.
Brother.
Dude,
Love you, brother.
Great to see you, pal.
I'll talk to you later, brother. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Good. You got to click out. We can't click you out. There you go.
There you go. Malcolm Nance, ladies and gentlemen. Black Man Spy, give him a follow. Yeah. How's that for some serious, nuanced conversation and some detail and some backstory? You know, we can talk about the operational stuff here. We can talk about the geopolitical stuff. But to Lev's point, and the things that the major breaking news that you're hearing is that this has way more to do with Epstein and oil than it has to do with regime change. This has way more to do with the PR of trying to push people off the scent of 53 very salacious pages of which details are coming out. You can read about at deanblundell.substack.com. And of course, over at Lev Remembers, hit that chyron at the top, please, if you can, and share this with as many people as you can. But I want to bend your ear on something too, Lev, and ask you what you're hearing, because, you know, JD Vance put out basically a post today saying, hey, this didn't work in Iraq. I have no reason why it should work this time, but, you know, all the best. And there is real consternation and sort of fracture in the White House among this regime about whether or not Donald Trump should have attacked Iran.
Oh, 100%. This is why one of the things I ask everybody. I wrote a letter today. Very important. Go read that, and I break down exactly this. And the problem is Congress. The problem is there's no back. They're allowed because it's so divided right now. But there's no leadership. There's so much cracks happening in MAGA. So much cracks happening in the GOP. So many people are against what's happening with the Epstein files. So many people are against attacking Iran and not going after it and not doing it. But they're allowing him to do it because there's nobody stepping up. Nobody right now. We should have an emergency hearing in Congress. They should be convened, going back there. There should be some session being made to stop him from what he's doing. Because at the end of the day, look, Donald Trump, and that's why you're seeing the divide start happening even more, because people are starting to see that there's really no plan. There's just like, the plan is all corruption, the plan is all money. And the thing that's happening right now in Iran is going to open up more of what's really taking place behind the scenes with Russia. Because this is all Vladimir Putin, using the pieces on the chessboard, using Witkoff. This is not coincidence. This is all strategical. The first person to go was Maduro. They were trying to give, a distraction from the Epstein files, but also what did they were able to do? They were able to take now all of Venezuelan oil and now put it, have the money go where? To Qatar. Qatar. Bypass America, bypass Venezuela, take control of the oil. That was the first step. They needed to do that because now what was the next step? Now they need oil prices to go up. Who benefits from that? There's only three major countries that benefit from oil prices going up right now more than anybody. That is America, because obviously we took over Venezuela. That's Russia, because right now just like Malcolm said, they were selling at oil at $45 a barrel. You got to think
Hmm.
about under $50, Russia is in decline. Over $50, Russia's making money. If oil goes to anywhere close to $100, you're talking about Russia becoming a monster again in militarizing their military machine. Just think about how overnight, how much money and how much flow that would happen. And who's the third one? The Saudis, MBS. Who was the person that brought Russia, Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner and Kirill Dmitriev back in 2017 together? Connecting all the dots. It's the same players we keep talking about since I've come to Substack. We talk about them every single day, and we have to stop talking. We have to start acting, because this is not a joke anymore. Because what has transpired right now, folks, we are at war. We are at war, but this is something that that started. We don't know how this is going to end. You can have all the pundits out there talking about that. Iran's going to do this and America's going to do this. Well, nobody knows what Iran's going to do. Iran could, this could be a nothing burger like last time. It could be turned into theatrics, that's what I'm trying to find out. Or this could be a lot more serious, where, basically like what I'm hearing, that Russia sold Iran out, basically gave Trump the same thing they gave him in Venezuela. Trump, by the way, one of the things I want you to know is why Rubio was in Israel and why Israel is doing this. And people are saying Israel's fine because Trump is using Israel. Trump doesn't want to put boots on the ground. Trump wants Israel to put boots on the ground. Trump is using Israel, to do it. Again, when we're talking about what actually is playing out and what actually is happening behind the scenes are two different ball games. And today we have entered a really, really dangerous time
Sure.
in our history, and we need to stop thinking, but start acting. And the only way we could stop this is if we get Congress to start acting. I mean, because they should be right now setting up and debating about the War Powers Act. Right now we should be, instead they're on vacation. It's incredible.
Yeah, well said, dude. Thank you. I appreciate that, because you were able to connect some dots. You called this on Friday, as a matter of fact, and here we are, literally sitting here talking about a war that was started. You telegraphed this. You've been on it. You know the players. But I also want to talk about the domestic, advantage to this war for Donald Trump, because I don't know if you saw his Truth Social tweet, but he put a tweet out that said, "Hey, basically Iran's getting what's coming to them because they interfered in our elections in 2020 and 2024."
There you go.
And we're attaching now several national presidential memorandums, right, and different executive orders, including one from 2018 that includes the word foreign interference in election status, right? And then we've also got NSPM 13, and then we've got this wheel of foreign interference in elections that Trump won and lost. And he's trying to communicate something to the people of the United States, and he has been for some time, which is Venezuela, China, Italy, Puerto Rico, and now Iran are somehow involved in screwing him out of his election win in 2020. And there is no way, specifically according to the information I've seen, not only any way Iran had anything to do with foreign interference in the 2020 or 2024 election, other than hackers getting some sensitive information from Donald Trump and passing it on to the world. By the way, little quick story, Iran said they're going to start releasing and leaking information they have from the Epstein files. So, hey, butterfly effect might be actually really interesting, but it fits into his domestic plan to not only call for martial law or destroy any free and fair elections in 2026, because he knows he's underwater. He's like 34% approval rating, which is fucking danger territory for anybody. 9 more points. He's got 9 to give. Steve said it yesterday, and he has finished, cook, done, and that is the end of MAGA. This isn't going to help him, so he needs foreign interference. He needs this visual. And he's going to, because he's telegraphing it on Truth Social, try to sell this to the American people that he's attacking Iran for the following reasons. One is they interfered in U.S. elections. That is entirely untrue. And the other is to set the people of Iran free, which he's not doing because he's not putting fucking boots on the ground.
I mean, very well said, incredibly said, and I just want to keep touching at because we've been every single time we speak. One of the things that I always mention, and thank you, Dean, for spreading that same message because it's extremely important. All of this ties into, which is the most important thing, from the Epstein files to what he does in Iran, for what he does in Venezuela, from what he's doing with ICE here. It's about staying in power. It's about pushing Project 2025. It's all it's all coming back to the very beginning, folks, and that's why I keep bringing it back. You know, you don't have to be a rocket scientist. It's the same thing. It's not some different playbook. Or most of this stuff is it's distractional, even though that is extremely important, extremely powerful. People are dying, people are getting hurt, our economy is getting destroyed, but they're used to be as distractions from the main reason. The main reason is Donald Trump is trying to stay in power forever. They're trying to destroy our Constitution. This is why all of these things you keep hearing election. He and I have spoke about this originally. You know, one of the things we were hearing, he wanted to do martial law. He wanted to do the Insurrection Act, and that's why he was pushing the ICE. Pushing immigration, doing all of that type of stuff, and it backfired big time. From the killings in Minnesota, from Renee Good, Alex Preddy, keep saying their names, folks, to, all of the stuff that kept happening. So then they went to Plan B, which was put into effect about 6-7 months ago, where he basically had Tulsi Gabbard, Radcliffe, and others basically start looking into what you just said, election interference by foreign agencies. And the one thing is change the subject, because the one country you don't hear that you didn't mention that we know for 1,000,000% interfered in our elections is Russia. And that is a main thing that I want to touch on, because Russia is history is being rewritten, just like he's trying to rewrite history with January 6th by pardoning them and saying there was no insurrection. Just like he's trying to rewrite history with the Epstein files by saying this is a nothing burger, it's a hoax, it's a democratic hoax, and we need to move on. Same thing as he is right now doing the same thing here. He's trying to rewrite history by what happened in the elections, and that it wasn't Russia that interfered, but it was Venezuela, it was Puerto Rico, and there was Iran. And if he says it long enough, then all of a sudden you have, and what's going to take place, I'm telling you right now, and I'm not telling you because I'm Nostradamus, folks, because I'm not. If I was Nostradamus and I could predict shit, I wouldn't be sitting here. I'd be very wealthy and predicting the races or games or the stock market.
Lottery numbers.
Cannot, unfortunately, I'm not good at predicting things, but I am good at, because of people that trust me, because I live this life. I was one of them. I'm still involved with a lot of people in the circle, and I'm able to give you actual facts about what's going on. And what I want you to know is that if we do not act quick enough, if Congress doesn't right now, if we don't put pressure on Congress to be able to stop him, between the Epstein files, between the attacks on Iran, between what he's doing with ICE and all of these things. If we don't get a bipartisan committee right now to somehow to say, hey, we're not waiting till the elections in November, we might not have a fair elections, because what I'm hearing that's coming down the pipe is that in the next few weeks, maybe even sooner, maybe a little later, you are going to hear indictments coming down in Georgia. That's going to be the first step. The first step is going to be local poll workers or local politicians or local maybe activists, somebody, people that, these activist groups that have, like the Laura Loomers of the world that have been fighting about Georgia, have files on all these people in Georgia. Because remember, Georgia was their biggest thing, because Fannie Willis went and indicted him. So once those indictments come down, then the next step comes in, national security. We can't tell you everything. Everything is blacked out. But we have information that there was a foreign interference in this election. What's the next step? Now the president has a choice to make, folks, in which Donald Trump just told you he's not going to do it, but it's a lie because then his choice is he doesn't have to send the troops in. Think about it. He doesn't have to send ICE in. He doesn't have to send all of these armed forces to do the Insurrection Act. He could do a thing that they figured out. It's called the Presidential Emergency Foreign Act, which enables him to do a very important thing. He has the right to now determine how the votes get counted, and most importantly, who counts the votes, folks. That's it. Game, set, draw. That's it. There you go. So if we don't stop this, forget about everything else we're talking. Forget about all the, what you're watching play out right now. You're going to see basically a world that is going to be run by 4 or 5 individuals like Trump, Putin, some others will come out of the woodwork like Kim Jong-un and others. And you'll have 4 or 5, MBS that control all the oil, that control all the natural resources, because this is what it's all about. Don't forget Ukraine. Ukraine is also, it's a gold mine for natural resources. That's another part of the plan to destabilize Europe. Russia needs Trump is helping not only get rid of NATO, not only destabilize NATO, but destabilize Europe. Because you have to just think about all of a sudden what happened with the immigration in the past few years. Think about what's going to happen now if all of a sudden there's fighting that breaks out in the Middle East and all of these countries. Where are these people going to run? They're going to run to Germany, Italy, London, UK. Here we go all over again, destabilization. In the meantime, what is terrorism? Nobody's going to be flying to Dubai. Nobody's going to be flying to Europe right now. All of a sudden terrorism starting to die. Tariffs are being all over the place. It's difficult. Look at the economy. I mean, I can keep going and going and going.
It's a rat race of chaos is what you're talking about, and it's the destabilization process. And to that point, I had actually, up until this morning, I had a trip booked, and we were supposed to land in Dubai and then go to Thailand. Like we had that trip booked for a year. We actually canceled that trip this morning.
Wow.
Because we have no idea. It's supposed to be in April. We have no idea what's going to be happening in that area of the world. And so to that point, what is happening and the response that's happening is having this chilling effect. And I'm ground zero for that because there's no way I'm going to that area of the world to begin with. So that's the foreign aspect of just a personal story. But the professional story, and with this, I got to wrap it up in just a second too. And I apologize that coffee and tea can't be a regular thing.
We have some breaking news. Actually, looks like that says some of the people were. It looks like the Israel state media said Khamenei's body has been found. The supreme leader of the Islamic Republic, Iran, is dead. It's over. See this? I mean, like what's over?
But that's the thing. That's such bullshit because it's not over. Do you know how many imams there are? Do you know how many? This strikes at the heart of religion. This is like if they just killed the Khamenei, you're going to have 40 million rabid Iranians want revenge. It's not over.
America is confirming that Ayatollah has been killed. Reuters is now reporting that his body has been recovered from a destroyed building following airstrikes. That's why this is exactly what we spoke about. And now, Putin has agreed to Ukraine, Zelensky's office chief. All of a sudden, Putin is starting to agree to accept U.S. security guarantees for Ukraine. And Budanov, which is another Ukraine. I mean, this is so much shit that's happening right now. But
this is happening right now. So like Putin is now saying, "I'll accept some security guarantees."
Yeah. I mean, this is because this is all not coincidence, folks. This is all part of the plan. This is all to hide because it's like to distract you. Now all of a sudden, I bet you if I was a betting man,
wow,
I'll tell you how the rest of the day is going to go. Trump is going to come out and claim victory. We have taken out Khamenei. I'm sorry, whatever the fuck his name.
Ayatollah Khamenei.
Ayatollah Khamenei. We have taken him out, just like
Yeah.
he did with Maduro. He's gonna say now it's up to the people. Go get your country back. Again, I don't
Doesn't
know
work
what
like
that means.
that.
Doesn't work like that, And so this way, when they don't get their country back, he's gonna blame them. He's gonna
Yeah.
say, "I gave it to you. I came in there. I took you out, and the people they couldn't do it. So what do you want? What did you want me to do?" I mean, this is the next step. In the meantime, you're going to see again. It all depends what plays out now. It's like you
So can I
see
ask you a
me.
question?
Yeah,
Let me ask you a question about that because this is awfully quipped and seems somewhat scripted. Israel and the United States would have had to get permission from Russia and the OK and the head nod to attack Iran, correct?
of course,
Correct.
100%.
Russia's on their back feet. Their economy's collapsing. They have lost or are losing the war. Every assertion to the opposite is perception, correct? Correct.
Correct.
Okay, so now we have what appears to be a coordinated statement from Vladimir Putin after the bombing of Iran that just killed the Ayatollah that says, okay, now we're willing to talk peace. And now we look like we might be able to save face for the president of the United States who solved another war.
Another war, Nobel Peace Prize. I won't be surprised if the next person that nominates Trump for a Peace Prize will be Vladimir Putin himself. I'm telling you, I'm telling you that you heard it here first. I'm telling you,
This is unbelievable.
Putin himself is going to nominate him for a peace. I mean, because it's like it's unbelievable. Yeah, it's incredible, and people are dying. Folks, this was a special. We got a lot going on. This is not our regular coffee and tea with Dean. I apologize. We couldn't get to a lot of your questions today. I apologize. We couldn't have that friendly bring everybody up, and because right now we have a lot of fluid.
Yeah, it's serious
things happening, a lot of serious stuff happening. We're going to be going live throughout the day. I recommend for those of you that have not read my letter. I don't know if you read it either. I recommend Oh, you did? Okay, great. I recommend everybody go read it because it'll break down. It'll give you the exact breakdown of what is actually happening, how it all ties in between Venezuela, Russia, Ukraine, the reasons what's happening and how it's going to play out. Also, the number one thing I'm going to tell each and every one of you right now, besides hitting that button and becoming subscribers and paid subscribers and supporting our platforms here, because what some of the things we talk about, just think about, folks. We could wake up one day and Elon Musk buys out Substack. It's not realistic. I mean, he did it to Twitter. This is just another platform, and then this could happen because if you think about what happened with Larry Ellison and CNN and what's happening with all the this. We keep telling you it's part of their plan, censorship, part of you to take away so you can your First Amendment rights, part of for you not to be able to get access to real news, to be able to judge from misinformation using AI with all of these. It's a major time in our life where we and I'm saying this to you not for you to be scared and to go into some kind of corner or for you to be depressed and say, okay, it's over with. No, I'm telling you all of this because I want you to use your anger. I want you to use your frustration. I want you to use that and channel it into action. Channel into going out there and continue making your phone calls, putting pressure on these. The dam is breaking. Keep calling Congress people. Keep sending the letters. Keep demanding public. Keep going on the different shows. Keep going on social media, restacking, taking this message because most people are not talking about what me, Malcolm, and Dean are telling you today. What we're talking about is we're giving you the inside story. If you go on any of the other pundits, they're talking about how many people died, where the rockets hit, and what Trump said, what Bibi Netanyahu said, but that's not the truth because that's all theatrics. And I always tell you, don't listen to what they tell you. Watch what's being happened behind the scenes. Watch their actions. Watch what's taking place. And a lot of it has to do Venezuela, oil, Russia, minerals, because we didn't even get to the minerals, and the Saudis, MBS, and Bibi Netanyahu. This is a very major, powerful group of people that are trying to run the world. And in the meantime, which we're not even talking about, is you have China and you have Xi that's not part of the boys club. She's not part of this good old boys club Trump's putting together, watching this whole thing play out. Remember, but he's still friendly with India. He's friendly with Russia. He's friendly with all the, so there's a lot going on, and Trump is way over his head because all he cares about is getting that trophy like he got with Maduro. And today, now he got with the Ayatollah. I promise you, that's all you're going to hear about, that Trump got out the Ayatollah. He's the only president in the world. Nobody else was going to do it. He's the greatest and the best. And now he stopped another war. Now we have peace in the Middle East. In the meantime, terrorism is gone. In the meantime, oil prices are going to go up. In the meantime, we're just getting started. So, folks,
and
do your
40,
thing.
and by the way, 40 million completely rabid, hardline Muslim extremists found out that their God's representation on earth just got killed by the United States and Israel. This will be a generational struggle. If you thought it was bad prior to today, heads up, your kids will be hearing about this kind of insurgency for a very, very long time. And sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I
No,
thought
absolutely.
that was worth putting in, because I mean, that's why
You're
we're here,
100%
right?
right.
This is going to be a generational problem for the United States of America, for Israel, for the U.S. And for a long time, smarter people kept a cap on this. They just blew the whole thing wide open. And this is going to get way worse before it gets better.
Oh yeah, it just started. But the one thing that I could promise you, the Wolf Pack is all over those pages. We're going to find those 53 pages, and they can't hide. And we're going to get it over to Congress. We're going to find out who this 13, 15-year-old, not who she is, but how Donald Trump and what transpired there, because we're getting there. The closer, just think about it, the closer we're getting to Donald Trump's conviction, the more rapid, and we talk about, that rat that's cornered, he's attacking, and that's why today you're seeing all of this happen. But folks, that means we're on the right track, and we always tell you it's going to get worse before it gets better. Unfortunately, this is not good. But at the end of the day, if we stick together, at the end of the day, if we continue doing what we're doing, stay the course, channel our energy, channel our hatred, channel our anger, channel our fear into action, I promise you, we will get our democracy back. We will be, getting back to where we now have to start fixing a lot of the things that he broke. Dean, I want to thank you for joining me, my brother. This was a
Thanks, buddy.
special,
Always.
definitely everybody make sure to subscribe to Dean, Zev, Ellie, the whole Wolf Pack out there. If you guys can become paid subscribers, could you sign the, what's it called? The petition. We have over
Subpoena
35,000.
petition.
The
I
subpoena.
believe you added Melania's name
Yes,
to it too,
yes,
which is
yes.
incredible.
Yes, very important. Yeah, very important. I'm glad you reminded me. Very important. We
Yeah.
have added Melania Trump to the petition, and that's why we need to get more, because they have screwed up really badly. This is something we'll talk about on a different live, but Donald Trump is worried shitless. James Comer, I was telling you guys this before the Clintons went to testify, because once they called their bluff, and once Hillary, not so much as Bill, because Donald Trump that's what people don't understand. Donald Trump, to go testify, it would be a show. He would lie, he would scream, he would yell. We would never get to the bottom. Just like having Bill Clinton go testify. He's a professional. These people know how to talk. It's just like Hillary Clinton. But the one person that has no idea how to even read a book to kids is Melania Trump. So when you get Melania Trump to testify in front of Congress under oath about her relationship with Epstein and Luke Brunel, and how her modeling career, and how she met Donald Trump, and all the ins and outs, is going to get it. So they are definitely worried about that. We added her name to the petition. Folks, keep signing the petition. Join the volunteer group, Lev PTTP at proton.me. It's not just my volunteer group, it's the whole Wolf Pack. We're all together. So once you volunteer, you're volunteering for all of us to help us save our democracy. We have a lot of stuff happening. And one thing, we have some tremendous, I've been working on something for a long time. Can't even tell Dean. I'm going to be breaking some big news either Wednesday or Thursday. I'm actually going to be breaking it with the Midas touch. That's how big the news is. It's going to be a major special all over. So stay tuned. If you haven't become a subscriber, a paid subscriber, I promise you, now is the time. You will thank me later. God bless all of you guys. Have a great day. Stay tuned. And we will be, coming back to you. So keep your notifications on because we are at war with Iran. There's a lot of things happening there, moving fluidly.
Thanks, buddy. Always great to see you. Hang in there, everybody. Stay with us. Subscribe. Have a great day. Talk to you soon.
Take care, guys.